Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. My name is Kevin Adipo. I take this opportunity to welcome you all in Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Today is the Tuesday of 26 September 2023. This is our third series, and I would love to tell you that again, being the third series, it has been an amazing journey. We are loving what the feedback we are getting from our participants. We are loving the impact that so far Get It Right with Atara Solutions have been able to just showcase, and we are proud to be bringing this to you every Tuesday from 8 a.m. Today's host is none other than Kevin Adipo. And I would love to take this opportunity before we can start on the topic of the day, just to share with us on our and give a shout out to our partners for the season 4. This, as I've mentioned, it has been an amazing journey, and we are so proud to be doing this every Tuesday. Before I can start, allow me to also thank Catherine Sidandi. I can see you. Welcome, Catherine Sidandi, and we are always happy that you are making us inclusive. So for the season 4 partners, we have, allow me to start with Stallion Construction Company. Stallion Construction Company, they deal with partitioning. If you have an office, if you have an house, or if you're looking to partition an already existing apartment, they are your go-to company. We have Pathway Solution Services. Thank you so much, Sir Frank, for always giving us trainings after each and every other training that we do and we host. Pathway Solutions, they offer an LMS training. That is to mean they do learning management system. You get to do your trainings at and within your timings. That is, if you're a business person, if you're a student, if you are also an 8 to 5 employee, or if you're an employer looking to learn more, Pathway Solution Services offers exactly that. For those of us who love to work with their hands, we have Panessa Training Institute. And just for your knowledge, Panessa Training are currently having an intake for those who would wish to join them for their weekend classes, and you are self-sponsored, kindly reach out to us and we will be able to link you up. We have WeClean services. WeClean, they are your go-to in terms of matters cleaning. They have a machine that can be able to clean your hello, can you hear me, Dandy? Hello?
Kevin, you're breaking a bit, but we can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. Thank you for that confirmation, Anne. As I was saying, we have, again, cleaning services. They have a machine that can clean your carpet for 6 minutes. If you're looking to clean your office, clean your houses, clean those apartments, they can do exactly that. You just do a phone call and they'll be there at your doorstep. We have Suluhu Mediation Center. As the name suggests, they offer mediation trainings, and the beauty about Suluhu is after your course, they attach you to an institution to also get to learn on the job. We have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito, they offer snacks and mapochopocho from the coastal region. If you love mapochopocho right now, for those of us who are parents, and also if you just have a sweet tooth, you can always make an order and they'll be able to deliver. They do delivery with countrywide, and that is a plus for them. We have also Profiles International. They are the only GENO certified company within East Africa. And if you've not done, and if you are willing to do a psychometric test to understand your personality, please never hesitate, and don't hesitate. You can always reach out to us or reach out to them directly and just mention the name Atara Solutions, and they'll be able to give you also services at a subsidized price. We have Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. Steadfast, they are our partners from Uganda. Thank you so much, Herbert Zake, for always making sure that within the Ugandan space, we are visible. They offer human resource, public relation, corporate affairs, finance, and accounting consulting. We have also SNPAC. SNPAC is a company within Kenya, and they offer occupational safety and health. If your organization is not certified in these areas, please reach out to them. We have another partner by the name Elsamea. Elsamea is located within Naivasha. We are getting, as we get into the festive season, definitely we are looking for places and hotels that we are going to take vacations. Please reach out to Elsamea and they will give you an offer, because they have an offer for our viewers and our participants. Last but not least, we have Labor Planet. As the name suggests, they deal with human capital matters. Today's topic, as many of us keep on wondering, who cares for the HR? Who cares for the HR? Who cares for our managers? Who cares for our supervisors? Because the supervisors, managers, employers who do exactly what HR does. So this topic is going to be guided through by none other than Emily Byaruhanga. I hope I've not butchered your name, Emily. Emily, welcome, and just guide us through today's topic. Emily, if you can hear me.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and to everyone who has logged in, thank you so much. And I look forward to us really demystifying this topic, because we realize that HR seems to be everything to everyone in the organization. So as you've already asked that question, who is in charge of HR? Who takes care of HR? And in short, who am I? You know, it's quite interesting having these sessions right in the space of your home. Maybe I might even be having food cooking on the on fire right now, as we basically take care of ourselves. As you've already indicated, my name is Emily Aneno Byaruhanga. Officially, I'm called Emily Aneno Byaruhanga. When you go to my WhatsApp message, I'm actually referred to as hot, sweet, sizzling, spicy Nalongo. So that's what commonly I'm known for. And Nalongo simply means a mother of twin. So what is this topic about? Who cares about us? as the HR profession. So let me just one second.
Great. As Emily is sharing her screen, as we were talking about who cares for HR, there is a lot of questions that came in, Emily, because as you've mentioned, HR is like the backbone of the organization. And many would say that HR does nothing. And actually, for most employers and even some employees would say that HR really, the impact of HR is not being felt in an organization. So this question, who cares for HR? Because we seem to be doing a lot, and at the same time, no one seems to see what you are doing. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that as you introduce yourself.
All right, thank you so much. On a lighter note, I've already introduced myself. Emily Aneno Byaruhanga is my name. I'm a certified strategic HR professional with a master's degree in organization psychology. I've practiced HR for the last 19 years, and I've gotten the opportunity to work for different international organizations. And my last recent job was with AMREF South Africa, where I was overseeing Uganda and South Sudan. Currently, I'm actually the lead HR consultant with the Managers Resource Center. HR is at the core of my heart, and that's the very reason as to why I chose the profession of HR. And I must say that even if tomorrow they ask me to change profession, trust you me, I'll go for another bachelor's degree to just become another better HR. So at the end of the day, who really cares about us as HR? And you see, we've been going through lots of dynamics of late since COVID came. But before that, we were still doing all the rest of the traditional aspects of HR, the recruitment, the onboarding, the ABCD. But then now, in addition to that, COVID came and the dynamics changed. Technology kept coming in, processes keep changing, systems keep changing. Every change that comes into the organization, who is being called upon? HR. Even if it is not HR work, take it to HR. Take care of HR. So when we look here, we've already made mention of that. We've said that in addition to the traditional work component of recruitment, yet when the market is tight, we are still expected to do much more. And yet in the long run, we forget that the HR guys get stressed, we get overtasked, and yet we get less support. Less support, less recognition. Because most times people don't think HR really is doing something. So HR profession is like a tug of war. You're being pulled all sides. The organization is pulling you. The employees are also pulling you. So in the long run, what happens? When you look at the organization, those are the leaders and the line managers. They feel that for us as HR, we are actually crisis managers. We are there to manage crisis. We are there to firefight. Whatever situation, emergency that comes, HR has come on board. Restructure. HR is the organization restructure architect. Any restructure or changes that occur, HR draw the change plan. How are we going to go about it? Now there's the component of the remote. When COVID came, we had to design policies on how to manage remote working. Then later on, we went to hybrid. And now here we are being challenged to draft procedures for the return to office. At the same time, we are also the employee wellness program navigators. Not forgetting that we're also compensation and benefits analysts. The day is also now on board. We must educate people about it. Yet at the same time, we're expected to be work engagement leaders. not forgetting that we are supposed to equally be information system implementers. That's what our leaders expect of us. That's what the line managers expect of HR. So here we are in the organization. HR is being pulled by the leaders. HR is being pulled by the line managers with all these expectations and requirements and demands with increased workload, expecting us to fulfill. Yet on the other side, the employees feel that we are their fathers. We are their mothers. We are their counselors. I always make jokes and say, when someone is single, HR is to blame. When they get married and things are not working, HR is to blame. So HR is a counselor, is a mother, is a dad. HR has to be there and listen. Yet at the same time also coach and make them better people. They consider us as big brothers. Yet others feel we are mentors to them. Others think we are big sisters to them. Others think we are referees by them. Yet others feel, my problem can only be solved by HR. So HR is considered a therapist. Yet also, we are looked at as police. So that's where we are. One side being pulled this way by expectations of the organization, the other side by the expectations of the employee. Now here we are in the middle. The question is, we must take care of the organization. We are taking care of the employees. What about us? Who takes care of us? It all starts with the leadership. The care of HR lies with leadership. Just like leadership is responsible and accountable for the vision, the mission, the strategy, driving the organization to where it's expected to be, leadership is equally accountable for taking care of HR. And one of the ways is listen. Listen to us. HR's job is always listening to others, but also sometimes we need to vent. As leaders, create time for us. Set check-in times, informal. Come with a cup of coffee. Invite me for a cup of coffee into your office. Better still, walk to my desk and do a check-in. Find out how I'm doing. Don't come to ask for results. Come and find out how I'm taking care of myself. We know that the workload is a lot, but allow us also to connect. Encourage us to connect with the other professionals and give us moments to connect. Two, we also emphasize the importance of rest. Give us time to rest. At the end of the day, the deadlines are real and we are doing our best. Amidst the heavy deadlines and the heavy workload, allow us time to rest. This way we'll be able to meditate, we'll be able to breathe, we'll be able to take walks, we'll be able to do whatever makes us happy. And let's remember, when you give us time to rest, we all will win each time we recharge. The other aspect that we request of you is involve us in every planning. The reason as why HR is a crisis manager is because most times we are never involved in the first place. Proposals are written without us. Decisions are sometimes made without us. And then here you are, budgets have been made in proposals and the budget does not even, cannot afford to get the top talents. And now here we are, we have to manage crisis. You need the people on time. You need the people to start up projects. But remember, you didn't involve us. The pressure gets high. And also don't forget that we are strategic leaders and we have a lot of experience and expertise to offer you. So involve us in every new process. That way you'll get more better, efficient, and inclusive results. Let's also take time to have a cross-functional team approach. Most of the times, everything is as HR has the solution. It's not the case. HR never has all the solutions. Although most times we're thrown at, they throw everything at us. No, HR do something for us. No. Let's create a crisis management team with a variety of expectations, a variety of experiences from the different units and departments. Let finance be in, let admin, operations, communications, depending on which the structure of your organization. That way different perspectives come to play and the problems get easily solved. And also leaders prioritize HR assignments. Most times you get to realize that HR work is never prioritized compared to other departments. If you're in the NGO sector, the programs usually supersede most of the things. Program. We need the everything. HR, we need the M&Es on board. We need the blah, blah, blah on board. But then you don't prioritize us. You never budget enough. For example, you may not, most of you don't budget enough recruitment costs, and you don't want to spend. You don't budget for adverts, and then you expect us to get amazing talent. Thank God for technology these days that you can use other avenues of social media and all that kind of thing. But there are certain times where we need to inject money, but we can't do that until you prioritize us. Because let's remember that until we get to strengthen the employee engagement and also reduce on turnover, there's nothing much we can do, So we need to support us, prioritize our work. When HR speaks, listen, really listen. That way, leaders will be taking care of us. And then also, a number of times when we win grants, you find that sometimes, not even sometimes, most times, the HR departments are the most understaffed. You find there are 2 people or even 1 person. And guess what? You won a $50 million US grant. And you're expected to recruit 80 staff at a go. And here you are with two HR staff. How do you expect them to do wonders? This is when you need to look out for get seasonal support. And this must be budgeted for. If you want to see the HR team jubilating, doing their job very well, hitting their targets, budget for consultants. Or better still, budget for enough staffing. Just like, for example, I realized with the program team will not underrate themselves. They'll make sure that everyone is budgeted for. And when you realize most times, when they're cutting costs, the first cost to be cut is HR. But I think leaders, let's rise up, let's support each other. Because at the end of the day, we are partners, and you keep saying HR are your strategic partners. How then can we continue to be strategic if you exclude us in a number of things? That is what leaders, we are requesting of leaders. But still the bar lies with us as the HR professionals. You have your own duty of self-care. Just like this picture shows, it's up to you to take care of yourself. You need to plug yourself on a certain level where you keep watering yourself. What are the things that you do that really, really makes you happy? And that is duty of care for yourself. It starts with you. Look deep inside you. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's up to you. It's up to each one of us to take care of ourselves. To every HR person, just like in cases of any emergency, each time when they're taking you through those security briefs in the plane, they're talking about the mask. When the masks pop up, remember never to help somebody without first putting on your mask. It's a challenge to all of us HR people. And never forget one thing, you're equal an employee like the rest. You equally need care like the rest. If no one seems to care about you, then you need to care about yourself. If it is to be, it's up to me. You must put on your oxygen mask first before you continue helping others. You also need to practice self-care to be able to establish high-performing teams. What are the ways you can do that? Do more of what makes you happy. Take a moment to reflect. What is the thing that you value? And what is that thing that you really need every day in your life when you're stressed? Think about it. Might be something very simple, but makes you happy. For example, me, going to do my nails, pedicure, manicure, that makes me happy. Coming back home, cooking something, even if everything has been cooked, just boiling water makes me happy. It kills my stress. What is that thing that you do that makes you happy? Strive for work-life integration. Remote hybrid is here to stay. We can't help it. In the past, it was basically about 8 by 6, you're up going to office. We used to go to office, but now guess what? Office is with us. Work-life balance is a challenge. What do? Embrace work-life integration. Attend Zoom meetings while preparing your meal. Attend Zoom meetings while maybe you're doing some workout. That is work-life integration, because you can't help it. And then also have cut-off timelines when you'll be off your computer. And that should be very intentional. You know, create healthy boundaries. We've said create time for workouts, for walks. Above all, me time. Sometimes we don't need to be so crowded. The other aspect is you also need to set clear expectations. Tell people what time is conducive for you. Sometimes we fear to say out, but let your team know what time is most conducive for you to work. And if you're overwhelmed, don't keep quiet. Here in Uganda, we say, raise up your hand and talk about. If you're working from, talk to your family. You know how you're going to organize your day so that they know when it is time for work, it is time for work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take time off. Let's strive for work-life integration. Let's do more of the things that make us feel good. If you like dancing, go dance. You like cooking, go cook. Walk, spend time with your dog. Turn inside yourself. Be kind to yourself as you're kind to others. Live, love, laugh. Live life, love life, love through the storms of life. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how short my presentation was, but allow me for about a minute to talk about the Managers Resource Center. We're basically management with distinction. That's who we are. We're incorporated in 2017. We're a consultancy firm. It's a one-stop center for all your management solutions. Our philosophy, we believe that management is to simplify life through the use of simple real-life practicals. And we believe that management is about people, and everyone is a manager wherever you are. We also believe that extraordinary results come from doing the normal things in our lives. Our vision is basically everyone exhibits management with distinction. Our vision is to provide simple real-life practical and timely management solutions through consultancies. And those are our values. We people first, simplicity. It is possible. We don't believe in impossibilities. And we are also Christian based. And those are some of the services we offer. We have a variety of teams, program management, organization, institutional development, HR. We also do publications as well as hospitality management. Those are our respective contacts. Thank you so much, Kevin. Any questions? Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Emily, for the brief, precise presentation that you've just shared with us. And as you are just going through the presentations, we have many participants who were, some thought that, okay, is it about taking care of HR, or is it about a mental health talk, or is it about, because these are some of the questions, and it's unfortunate, but again a reality that many of us or many HRs suffer mental health, because as we all know, there is no one they can talk to, because you can't run to your employees, you can't run to your employer, but you have to be in between at all times. So just before we get to that, there's this propping question. How do HR manage to manage their workload? Because during your presentation, you highlighted that in some organization or in other organization, you'll find that we have only 2 personnel within the HR docket, and you need to hire. Besides hiring, you need to maintain employee management. Besides maintaining that, you also need to maintain the employer and their satisfaction. So how do you get to just manage the workload within the HR department? Back to you, Emily.
Very much. I think I made mention a bit. It's you get embraced for it, and it gets tough, we must say, and that's why most times we try to call on the respective manager.
Sorry, Emily.
I think that's why we're also trying to reach out back.
Okay, we were listening at some point. Okay, we can hear you, yes. Please continue.
Okay, I'm saying how best now we manage is, at the end of the day, we are now empowering managers to take ownership of their staff. HR is actually no longer the people managers. HR is a facilitator of people managers. So you as the team lead that has the staff, you are actually the HR manager. A number of to be disciplined, this one do their work, reporting into HR. You are actually the HR. So as HR professionals, we are basically here to facilitate the managers to do their job in the rightful way, in alignment to the respective policies. I don't know whether I answered you, Kevin. Yeah.
Yes, you did give us an answer to that question. And as you were doing that, there's a very interesting question here from Marion Namono. Who is the HR to HR?
Good question, Namono. Who is HR?
To HR.
To HR.
Yes.
Wow. And I think that's why we are here. Who is HR to HR? HR, I've not even partly answered. HR is basically a facilitator. A person with HR's job is to facilitate us enjoy our moment at work. And that's why you see, for example, we do employee engagements to get to hear from you. What are the things that make you happy? What are the things that disappoint you? And then we provide system, procedures, and processes to enable you get answers and solutions to your situation. So basically, in my view, HR is a facilitator of all of us. But the HR, who is HR? The question again, who is HR of HR?
Yes, HR department. Anyway, I believe you managed to give us a very, very precise feedback to that question. On to the next one. As I had started and mentioned earlier, many of us, when you started the session, we could see an element of mental health. So how would you approach that, considering that, as mentioned again, that many HRs do suffer mental health, and many organizations, many employers, they don't seem to get it. They don't seem to understand how to approach this situation. What is your take on it?
First and foremost, HR were responsible for, as we said, we are employee wellness navigators. The mistake we make as navigators is that we focus so much in making sure the ship goes through the right channels and lands well, with everybody aboard safely. That's what we majorly focus on. But we also forget that the captain of the ship can easily doze off, you know? So just like long distance drivers, they tend to get, in Uganda, it is rock boom, hosting, you know, energy drinks to keep themselves awake. So the same applies to HR. These systems that we develop to support employees, don't forget you are an employee also. Before HR, you are an employee. You equally signed employment contract like all the rest of the employees. Do not forget yourself. Do not forget to use the same systems that you are developing. If, for example, you've got an external counselors, don't forget to sign in. And when you see that it is getting on you, accept the reality, step back. But above all, surround yourself with the right people. My take to everyone and the teams I've always worked with is that the most important thing is your family. Tomorrow, these jobs that we have will go. These are realities. And what happens when you've lost your job and as you've as well lost your family? You have nowhere to belong. So as much as we do our work, as the deadlines are there, the workloads are there, never sacrifice your family. Make sure your family is intact, because they'll be the ones that you'll go back to. But also get the right kind of friends. In the HR fraternity, we have amazing people that you can talk to. In Uganda, we say, don't die in your movie. Don't die. Get help. That's the reality. We talked about it. Raise, shout. Shout for us are not working out. Shout, confide in people. That's the only way out. But yeah.
Okay, I wonder, Sidandi, can you hear Emily?
No, I can't.
She's
All right.
she has frozen.
She has frozen. In
Yeah.
the meantime, I'll request Anne. Anne, if you can put on your video, please, to as we wait for Emily.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Emily, if you can hear me, you're frozen. Great. So Anne, just to, I believe you are following the question. You are following the session, and I believe also that you have some insights on the question that we were just demystifying with Emily. What do you have to say about it?
Hi, Kevin. So, when it comes to who takes care of the HR, just like Emily has put it, the HR must take care of the HR first. Why? Because contrary to the popular opinion, the HR is also an employee of the organization. And how do you know this? Is when those redundancies come down, you will find out that the HR's name is also on the list. So she will finish with everybody else, and then finally she will close the door on herself, and life continues, right? So basically what I'm putting across here is, as a HR person, you need to be able to take care of yourself in order to take care of the other people. Because if you don't, then whatever it is, you are in charge of all this other, and everybody comes to you with all their problems. And if you don't take care of yourself, then it means you'll be projecting all of your problems onto the employees that probably have nothing to do with whatever it is that you're going through. So the HR is the HR for the HR. In summary, that is what I mean.
That is quite a bone to chew. Anyway, as you mentioned, the HR is the HR to the HR, which I agree with you. And many would ask, considering the organogram or the organization structure, depending with the organization, many of the staffing, at times even the employers, get to wonder who oversees the HR.
Now, depending on the organogram that you have, the organogram, what that basically provides for you is the reporting structure in terms of, does the HR report to the managing director or the CEO, or sometimes you have the operations director that the HR manager reports to, etc., depending on your structure. But then that is the reporting structure as far as the leadership hierarchy is concerned. But then you see now when we are talking about taking care of HR, we are looking at it from a humanistic perspective in terms of, if a HR has a personal problem that they want addressed, who do they go to? In most organizations, in fact, don't even go to the organizations, meet a group of HR people seated together and they will tell you, I literally do not have anybody I can talk to in my company. And that is why when 3 or 4 HR people sit together, the level of venting, they literally spend the first 15 minutes venting on how this and that is happening. And sometimes, I mean, most times this thing is important. You just sit there and listen to somebody's frustrations. Your role is not to provide solutions for whatever it is they are going through. It is just to listen, and you listen and nod your head and say, in your heart, you're like, I can relate. But at the end of the day, you have to find a way to channel out these frustrations. And most likely, you will not channel them to a lower level staff member, because if you do that, it will be used against you somewhere when people are taking tea in the kitchen at 10 a.m. If you channel this to your supervisor or a senior manager, for most organizations and for some of these people, they consider that incompetence. So where does the HR go to? You will have to find somebody from outside of the organization who understands the role that you perform and share whatever it is. And from there, probably they will provide you with another perspective of how to look at it. And I just want to introduce another not so familiar, not familiar, but popular thought. And this is therapy. When people hear that the HR is going for therapy, they think the HR has lost their mind. No, the HR has not lost their mind. They need to talk to somebody. It is a lot. Assuming you have 3,000 employees and all these people, the only person they know is Anne. If, like Emily put it, if they got married and the marriage did not work, the HR is the one supposed to come and support this marriage. If so and so is quarreling with so and so, there was actually a video that was going on about an employee who was reporting another one to the HR and venting about this person when she is not considerate during lunch hour because he brings in food that has a different type of smell that does not, it is not working very well within the office setup. And as they are complaining, the person who is being complained about is also writing to the HR and explaining, by the way, I have a problem with so and so because she does not respect my choice of food. So where does that leave the HR? So that is a basic example of generally how the HR is cutting a double-edged sword. You have to cut both sides and find a balance somewhere in between. And for you to be able to, to find that balance, you have also to be grounded. If you are not grounded, then you will find that you will be leaning towards your moods as opposed to leaning towards the facts and providing an objective decision. Thank you, Kevin.
Wow, wow, that actually was very insightful, and at least I have been able to grasp a thing or two. And thank you, Emily, and welcome back. We had lost you at some point. Anyway, as we speak about Anne, I didn't request that you switch off your video. Please come back. Thank you. So it's just about you've had Emily as you're coming in, us trying to understand how HRs can vent, or rather can bring out their frustrations. And I remembered, if I'm not wrong, you mentioning that we need to rely on, or rather have and surround ourselves with the right people. These right people, as Anne was mentioning, at times it's not easy to either even speak to, HRs don't have friends. We only have colleagues. And it's a sad reality, and that actually trickles down to managers, supervisors, because currently we are doing HR trainings to non-HRs, so that again we can we can try as much as possible to help others and also help them understand what we are going through. Besides that, how can we just make sure that, yes, however much you're doing the HR for non-HR trainings, that the people we are trying to train on the HR matters, again, because of this data protection, they don't end up releasing the information of the organization outside, because that is going to come back to HR. Emily.
The best thing to do is, before the training, let them sign the confidentiality document. That will keep them committed. That, whatever information we are sharing with you is for the purposes of this training. So, yeah, let's make sure that there's confidentiality document that they can sign. But better still, sometimes it's critical that for training purposes, you may not use the actual information. You may
please go back like 10 seconds.
I'm saying the other alternative is, also for training purposes, sometimes you may not use the actual data for people. You may think of dummy data, so at least to protect the privacy of staff. There are certain documents that are really very classified, and it's only for the eye of HR, that even the line managers may not contain it. So we need to be very sensitive. But if you must then use that info, you need to use it very, very carefully, and then also let the participants know that the information is very sensitive, and hold them accountable by signing the confidentiality document.
Great. That is very well said, Emily. And if I may come back to you, Anne. I remember when Emily was doing the presentation, she talked about how other departments can prioritize HR assignments. How do you think, she actually talked about other departments prioritizing HR assignments, so that on the very least, the HR impact can also be felt trickling down. So what is the best way to make other departments or even managers prioritize HR assignments?
Thank you, Kevin. As Emily had noted, HR is the facilitator, and then when you're talking about prioritizing HR assignments, there are certain roles within the HR department that are actually, when it comes to the implementation of the same, they are done by the heads of department. For example, when we're talking about performance appraisals, the HR work comes into this aspect to support the process, not to actually do the performance appraisals themselves. Because why? Because the HR is not an expert in all of these departments. For instance, if you're talking about IT, you have sales and marketing. For institutions that are technical, and you are talking about like medics and all that, the HR is not a medical doctor. So if you are bringing in a HR person to be able to appraise a medical officer by themselves, they are bound to fail. Why? Because the technicalities of the work itself are beyond their scope. So you are relying squarely on the head of department, who is also somebody specialized in that role, to be able to execute that role. That is number one, on the performance appraisals. When it comes to the aspect of, say, even to the disciplinary management aspect, you will see organizations will keep saying the HR is, the employees are not very disciplined, the HR is not doing enough, da, 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 da. But you realize these people, they work under a head of department who is in charge of the day-to-day operations within that section. So that if something is happening in the procurement department, before it gets to the HR person to address it, it has gone through the procurement manager, who is the head of department, or whichever, however they call that person. So with those two examples, you can see how departments are actually aligned to perform the actual HR functions with the support of the HR. So what the HR comes here to do is facilitate and support, and to see that even the policies and the procedures that we have in place are being followed. And that is why, as you put it, we have the HR for non-HR trainings that come in to advise that head of department or that supervisor. If you are taking a disciplinary action against an employee, you don't just wake up and chase them. No, there is a process that has to be followed, and you have to go through it like this. And if you as the HR and your heads of department are aligned in terms of processes and procedures, then they will be able to implement them seamlessly. And at the end of the day, it does not come back to you as the HR that the management would start to accuse you of incompetence. No, your job is actually being performed by the HODs, but through your facilitation and support. I hope that answers it, Kevin.
Definitely. And Patrick Obita is just adding to what you've said. Involve the managers and supervisors right from the recruitment process, so that they know that the caliber of staff they get is their responsibility, which I believe we all agree to. And that actually leads me to my next question that is directed to Emily. Communication seems to be a major challenge between HR department and other departments. Either we as HRs will claim that or will mention that we don't get feedback, and vice versa is the case. So how can we manage communication between HR and other departments, or other departments and HR? Emily.
Before I respond to the communication component, I want to add on to the aspects of what Anne was talking about. From day one, let managers take ownership of their role. As HR, we've already said we are facilitators. Do not do the manager's role. For example, if the position has fallen vacant, it is the responsibility of the manager to make a request for that vacant position. And then it is also their responsibility to make sure they avail themselves for the interviews. You know, most times managers try to act like that they're too busy. They are ever busy when it comes to HR matters. But the point is, from my experience and my practice, managers own up. As Patrick has indicated from day one, own up. Develop the JD because it's you who understands the job, and HR basically supports you to align. Communication is both, it's basically two-way. It all depends on what are we communicating. You find that sometimes, if not most times, and some organizations, HR does not directly report to the top person. You'll find HR is into finance, HR is, into another, maybe under operations and all that. But the question is, what is that communication? Because any breakdown in communication is both ways. What is it that communications in regard to recruitment? At the end of the day, there should be from day one, as an organization, have very clear procedures of either of giving feedback and also to both successful and unsuccessful candidates. And I think that's a very big gap on us as HR people. People come to do interviews with us and we never give feedback. And let's remember that lack of feedback kills our credibility. And maybe that's why sometimes as HR, our contributions are not noticed and we are blamed for everything. So as much as we are few, let us work, since technology is now the in thing, let's make sure that the systems can easily give auto feedback to everyone. So to me, communication is two-way. Sometimes we HR people also complain that we don't get feedback from the rest. So let's also be clear, what is it that you want feedback on? And if you need it, ask for it. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Emily. And you've just mentioned that in communication, we have serious gaps that actually needs to be looked at. And Anne, many would agree, many HRs would agree that just like any other professions or professionals, we both have, or we all have strengths and weaknesses, some of which go line in line with the finance bit. And that is why, as Emily mentioned, that at times, many organizations will under budget or even not budget at all for the HR. How and what do you think about this critical aspect?
Let me say this categorically. For any organization that has not thought about budgeting for a HR or establishing a HR department, I would like to advise you to rethink that decision. And we are in the consultancy business, and most of the times we get called upon by clients to be able to do an audit for them. And part of the process of this audit involves us looking at the processes themselves, looking at the employees, looking at the documentation, etc. And unfortunately, for most of the organizations that lack a HR person that is in-house or HR support, you will find that they are dealing so much with turnover. And it is sad to say the turnover is as a result of very basic things that can be sorted out as far with if you had a consistent person that is handling your HR issues. And when I'm talking about HR issues here, I'm not talking about files and papers and documents. I am talking about the people. If today, as an organization, your employees have a problem, the question is, who do they go to? If you do not have a HR person, the next other person they will go to is, one person will go to the supervisor, the other one will be talking to the finance person, the other person will be talking to the director. So the director ends up becoming the person that is listening to the basic problems of the staff when they are supposed to be dealing with the strategic aspect of running the business. You understand? So for organizations that have not thought about budgeting for the HR department, it is critical. And this is one of the key mistakes that companies that are just starting up make, because they assume that everything will just fall into place. No, everything does not fall into place. Somebody has to put them in place. And your finance manager is not the HR. Your operations manager is not a HR. And when you recruit somebody and you tell them, you will start handling people issues going forward, most of those people have no idea the legal implications that are involved in some of the decisions that they make in terms of how people processes are concerned. And at the end of the day, 12 months down the line, you would have piled up potential or actual litigations that you could have avoided if somebody were advising you correctly from the onset. So in most organizations, everybody will claim to know how HR work is done. In fact, the HR will be seated there and everybody is advising them on how they're supposed to do their job. And in their heads, they're thinking, are you sure? You know, so I would advise every employee, every company, if you cannot afford an in-house HR, outsource it, or you can get it on a consultancy basis and in terms of a needs basis, a one-off kind of arrangement, or however you agree with whoever is providing you with the HR support. But for every serious company, you need to have somebody who is directly in charge of handling your people. And it is definitely not the finance manager. Thank you.
So much, Tim, for this wonderful, insightful session. Just as I allow you to think through your parting thoughts, allow me to once again recognize our partners who've enabled us to bring this session to us via Zoom. That is Stallion Construction Company, Pathway Solution Services, Panessa Training Institute, We Clean Services, Suluhu Mediation Center, Kapula Mintito, Profiles International East Africa, Steadfast Quality Solutions, SM Park Limited, Elsamere, and Labor Planet. Back to you, Emily. Just if I come back to you, Patrick Obita tends to agree with what we've been talking about. To ease the HR work, managers need to be competent in their roles and responsibilities. And I believe we all agree to that. Emily, your parting shot.
Yeah. Pardon me?
Your parting shot.
My parting shot is that for the HR people, one, take care of you. Live your life, love your life, and laugh through the storms of life. And also remember that you have one life to live. And if you lose that life, the organization loses, yes, but you'll be replaced immediately. But your family will lose you forever. So let's hit deadlines. Kevin, you're overlapping. These are the realities. Let's hit deadlines. Let's do our jobs, but let's remember we have one life to live, and let's live it in all its fullness. And let's job and do our jobs. The different organizations we work for are passers-by. It's one of the phases of our lives. Today you're in this organization, tomorrow you're in another organization. So create impact, make a difference, but make sure that your mental sanity is intact. Live life, love life, laugh through the storms of life. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Emily and Neno. Anne, your parting shot, please.
Kevin, I had not prepared a parting shot. So anyway, my closing remarks as far as this conversation is concerned, to the HR people, there's so much burden that HR professionals carry along. And unless you are walking that journey, it sounds very easy. Sometimes it looks like what you are doing is very basic and anybody can do it. But I promise that not everybody has the audacity that most of us have in terms of delivering the things that we deliver. And when you are trying to communicate to people and still maintain a human perspective or a human face while you are delivering a very sad, while you're delivering sad news, it becomes, it's kind of emotional, and it takes somebody who has a heart to be able to deliver that and still maintain the dignity of that human being. And if you do this over and over, it gets very overwhelming, that it gets to a point where you are bound to break down. And that is why, as Emily has put it, I would like to urge all HR people, find that one person or two maximum that you can talk to as far about your job. You talking to them is not for them to advise you. They may advise you, but just find that person that you can vent to. Because sometimes you just want to let that and then go back and continue from where you left, right? So find that person that you can breathe out and find something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And focus on it outside of your work environment. Your work is very important, but your work is not your life. You don't have, it is not death. You do not have to die there. You understand? At the end of the day, as Emily advised, trust me, when you die today on that desk, by the time we are attending your funeral and saying how nice and how amazing and how you are, trust me, the advert is already 1 week old. We are finishing your burial on Saturday. On Monday, we have interviews from 8 a.m. Life continues without you. So take care of yourself, take care of your team, because the HR is the HR for the HR. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Kim. You've been an amazing facilitators, and to our participants, I'm really happy that you managed to join despite your busy schedules. Thank you so much, Team Atara, that is working on the background. That is Jacinta and team. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Sig Dandy, for making sure that you are always inclusive. And thank you so much, Emily, for giving us and blessing us with your wisdom. It's been amazing, and definitely we hope and pray to host you back again soon. For the participants who are asking on the recording, definitely we are going to share our recording on YouTube. Maximum 3 days from today, so that at least for those who joined late, they'll be able also to grasp 1 or 2 things from the recordings. And if you'd wish to know and hear more from Atara Solutions, join our WhatsApp group, Get It Right with Atara Solution. You can also join our Facebook page, Get It Right with Atara Solution. And you can also join our LinkedIn page, Get It Right with Atara Solution. For these and many more, as Emily said, live life, love life, and laugh through the storms. Thank you so much, and we love you. Looking forward to be with you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.